Hi, I'm DKWILL, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I got this email, and it really caught my attention because, as you're aware, I've done many videos warning folks of the potential for bank failures and the terrible mayhem that it would cause in our lives if our particular bank happens to fail. So I got this email, as you see here. It's in my Yahoo email box. It's from Glint, and I recommend Glint as a place for safety for your money. And I thought that this is absolutely a reason to do another video, considering the tumultuous times that we are in and that we are heading into. It's a message that's consistent with the message I've been trying to give, even though I haven't even listened to this yet. I'm going to listen to it with you guys as I do this video, because it talks about an Oklahoma bank failure exposes bail-in risks. Are your deposits safe? And I will put at strategic locations in this video the cards for the prior videos I've done about the banks and the possibility for bail-ins. And I don't just give you the information, I give you solutions that you may want to take to heart. And so I've mentioned in my pre-recorded ad I do for Glint, I think it is, Be Your Own Bank. I have an ad that I do for Decent Wallet for those who are involved in crypto to maybe custody some of your own cryptocurrencies. And I have one for treasuries. As long as there's a government, your treasuries are safe. Because if the governments are gone, your money's no good anyway. Do you understand? So as long as there's a government, then your money is safe, which makes the treasury safe. If the government is gone, the money is useless. And the banks don't have anything either. But this says, following the failure of First National Bank of Lindsay in Oklahoma, Jason and Andy discuss what this incident means for customers nationwide, uncover the implications of FDIC limits. I've mentioned that, and I've recommended SIPC by using financial advisors, and bail-ins. I will put the cards. And learn why it might be time to think beyond traditional banking. Folks, I hope anyone who crosses this can see that here at DKWILL, DK will talk about it. We are ahead of the curve. And I hope if you stumble across my video that you like and you subscribe, and then you go backwards and see some of my videos that you haven't seen and see how timely they are, how enlightening they are, how enriching they are, and how, what's the word I'm looking for, solidifying they are. I have a parrot, Bogey. I talk, he talks. It says this is essential listening for anyone concerned about financial security. So folks, we're going to listen to Jason Cozens and Andy Scheckman probably say things that I've already said, but let's listen together.
A bank account above the FDIC limit is foolish. No one knows what a bail-in is yet, but that's what we just saw.
We know what a bail-in is.
When there is a bigger bank that fails, that is bailed in, it will be a religious experience to this country. The whole thing is very frightening, but it's emblematic of just how ill-prepared people are for what's coming because they don't see it coming. And you can't get out of the way of what you don't see coming. This is the beginning of a silver squeeze. And when you realize that the majority of those contracts are all naked short, that's the whole essence of a squeeze. When the price starts to rise and these entities try to cover their naked positions.
Of course, I then discovered as well that, of course, the dollar and the pound and the euro and all these fiat currencies weren't based on anything anymore since they came off the gold standard in 1971.
You have all of these countries trying to find unity, trying to find a common settlement currency and a common payment system for the people, all of which sidesteps the US dollar and the SWIFT system.
There will be a global currency reset to gold-backed asset.
Hi, Andy, how you doing?
Jay, good to see you, brother. I feel like I haven't talked to you for a long time. I'm doing great, man. It's great to see you. Hope you are too.
I was out of action there for a little bit with a bit of man flu. Men out there listening to this podcast will understand. The ladies will think we've heard this too many times, but actually,
now there's man flu. There was bird flu, and there's swine flu, and now there's man flu. It just, I suppose, it's better than swine flu.
I don't know about that. I rang my medical insurance. They said it's not covered. I was like, what are you talking about? Anyway, we've got a short amount of time tonight. I've got to actually be in the Houses of Parliament later on today for a presentation. So looking forward to that. So we've got to get a lot packed in. And let's just go straight off the back. Fraud allegations, millions missing, an entire town left grappling with financial chaos. Andy, you know what I'm talking about? A bank in Oklahoma.
Quickly setting the stage.
Coming to a
and it's
neighborhood
ironic this
near
happened in
you.
Oklahoma, Jason, because first of all, go back to the Dodd-Frank Act. They said bank bailouts are illegal, won't ever happen again. Banks would be bailed in, meaning that as a depositor, anything over the FDIC limit, which in and of itself is silly because they only have 148 billion back in 18 trillion in deposits. But they said anytime a bank fails subsequently to 2008, the taxpayer won't be on the hook through bailouts anymore. They will be bailed in.
And my videos will explain this. Folks, I encourage you to take the time for your own financial well-being. I see this is by the Resilient Compass. I'm going to give props on that. I'll give the link in my description for this video. I noticed they have just about the same number of subscribers as I do, so hopefully it will help us both. I haven't tried to upload this yet, and YouTube will determine if it's a violation or not. I don't know. But what I do know is it's something we need to hear. But as I said, we're hearing it together. So let me shut up and let's keep listening.
By the unsecured general creditors of the bank, the depositors, i.e. last to be paid. And so having anything in a bank account above the FDIC limit is foolish. And it's interesting, Jason, so many people in this country, sophisticated, read people who perhaps read the wrong stuff, have no idea what a bail-in is. They have no idea what money market gating is, which was also put into play during the Dodd-Frank Act, which says if a money market goes down, like they started to do when Lehman Brothers failed, who controlled the money markets, that you're gated. You can't get out. You're locked in. And with $7 trillion in money markets, that's a big red flag. I'd pay close attention to that.
Are you enjoying the show? A quick reminder then to hit the subscribe button so you can be kept up to date about future episodes. Now, back to the show.
But anyways, back to the story.
Yeah, let me just tell people, actually, for those people who might not have heard it, the First National Bank of Lindsay in Oklahoma was closed by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency on October the 18th, just a few days ago. And the FDIC was named as the receiver. And all insured deposits, that's those under, is it $200,000?
It's 250.
250 were transferred to the First Bank and Trust Co. Duncan, Oklahoma. And insured depositors, the FDIC say, continue to have access to their funds. But the FDIC plans, they state this on their website, to make only 50% of uninsured funds, that's funds that are over $250,000, available starting October the 21st for loans and claims. Customers should contact the FDIC or First Bank Trust & Co. So, yeah, they're treating these people with more than $250,000 differently than everybody else. They're treating them the way they said they would. Is that right?
When the bank failed, Silicon and Signature, the representative from Oklahoma, ironically, who was in a subcommittee finance hearing or an inquiry with Janet Yellen, he said, look, you just bailed out these banks. It's illegal according to the Dodd-Frank Act. And she said, yes, we did, but it was an uber majority vote between myself, the president, the FDIC, knock it off. Sorry. And the FOMC, which is the Federal Reserve. So in any case, Minnie.
Yeah, the dog knows all about this. The dog.
Yeah, like y'all know, I have a parrot, so I understand, Andy, what you're going through. Folks, just listen through it. And as we go through this, I might cut and edit along the way just to keep it lesser time. But we need to hear this.
So the representative from Oklahoma says in this hearing, Miss Secretary, if a bank fails in Oklahoma, will my constituents be made whole too? She says, no, sir, they won't. And that's what this is right here. And I hope people will listen to this. But let's get right to the meat of it. As I know,
previously, people like Silicon Valley Bank were too big to fail. the people are saying this bank was too small to care.
But here's the interesting part about it, right? No one knows what a bail-in is yet, but that's what we just saw. And when there is a bigger bank that fails, that is bailed in, it will be a religious experience to this country, because what you just said, they did say that the insured amounts would be available here on Monday. This happened on Friday, a few days ago, and then Monday, 2 days ago, those insured deposits are made available as the bank was, all the banks that have failed subsequently have been gobbled up by other regional banks or JP Morgan. But this bank, okay, so the, what is the name of the bank? The First Bank and Trust of Duncan, Oklahoma said, we'll take over the insured assets or the deposits. The FDIC said those deposits that are insured will be available, to your point, Monday. They said the uninsured deposits, of which there were 7 million. So this is a small bank. Imagine a bank with a few hundred million in uninsured deposits. They said.
Imagine, too, that he said a lot of the banks have been gobbled up by the big guys. And apparently, if you haven't been gobbled up by the big guys, they are doing a hostile takeover in manners just like this. And the only way you're going to get protection from a bank is if your bank has been gobbled up by the big guys. So in other words, if you're in a local regional bank that doesn't have a good, strong balance sheet, you are significantly in danger. And even if you do, if your bank does have a good balance sheet, you are still significantly in danger. Because I can tell you, as having worked for a bank, that no bank has the cash to cover the deposits that they have on the record. That's just a simple fact.
Said 50% will be available Monday, right? But what is really not being reported, and this goes to show how horrible our media is, it should be front and center news on every newspaper, on every evening news. They said, however, 50% of the uninsured deposits would be available Monday, but the kicker being the possibility, let's highlight the word possibility, of increasing that amount as assets from the failed bank are sold. Now, if you go back up into the story, it says that the bank had far more liabilities than it did assets. So as they sell the assets of the bank, there's an inequity there. That inequity will be in a pro rata fashion to the depositors. So if you had $1 million in the bank, right, 250,000 is FDIC insurance. That leaves 750. That isn't. Half of 750 is 375. You get that 375 back plus the 250. So you're at 6.25. The other 375, say bye to it. You may get it back. There's a possibility. The FDIC has 4 years to make good on that. You may get it. Yeah. You may not. So think about that for a moment in terms of the wisdom of keeping your money inside of a bank these days. It's absolutely crazy if you're over the FDIC limit.
I find it really frustrating that we're, as a regulated company, we have all kinds of processes and systems in place that are imposed upon us by the regulator, who they're supposedly there to protect the customer. And every time we talk about purchasing power of gold, we have to put a statement alongside that advertisement that says, goes along the lines of, whilst we know that over the long term, the value of gold goes up, the confidence in fiat currencies goes up and down and generally down, and therefore the value of your gold can go down. Not one bank has to say things like, while the value of your dollars generally goes down, in fact, they've lost nearly 90% of their purchasing power over your lifetime. And by the way, if the bank goes bust, then you might not get all your money back. They don't have those warnings. And yet, as an alternative, as a gold-based alternative, we have to put these notices up. And in fact, they're even recommending that the room you've got to put those on an ad, it ends up covering half the ad with the warning. I just think it's not very fair.
Jason, not only do people not know about bail-ins, but they don't know about gold anymore either. I was watching the news the other day as Bitcoin is roaring. At the time, it was up to almost 69,000. It's come back since then, but gold and silver are making all-time highs. And not a word about gold and silver. Not a word.
A word, several words, have originated from DKWILL Talk About It. My goodness, folks. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please give this channel some life. because I say what they don't want you to know, what they don't want said, and as a consequence, the YT, the YouTube, is just as much a part of keeping it suppressed as everyone else. And that's why the Resilient Compass only has 747 subscribers, and DKWILL Talk About It only has 747 subscribers. Share, subscribe, like. Tell a friend.
Of course, they talk about Bitcoin. My point is that this is a market that is climbing up methodically and stealthily. It's not being noticed. And the things that are so important, like wealth preservation in an asset that all the central banks are buying, who know the script, who are the most well-informed, or something as massively as important in an over-leveraged and undercapitalized banking system as what does a bail-in mean and what does money market gating mean? And those are all written in the Dodd-Frank Act. And yet we just saw, in essence, a bail-in. And not a word about the significance of this. Multiply that times many-fold on a larger bank and watch what happens to people's all of a sudden immediate realization of what gold is, an asset with no counterparty liability.
Yeah. And of course, we've been through this before. I believe the bail-in legislation was passed by the G10, I think, maybe 10 years ago or something like that, maybe longer. And actually, longer. And in 2013, they did their first dry run, which was, of course, back then, Cyprus faced a financial crisis. They needed a bailout from the EU and the IMF. And people in Cyprus with less than 100,000 euros in their account had to pay a one-time tax of 6.75%. And anyone who had more than the 100,000 euros lost 10%. There's a 10% haircut across the board. And depositors were compensated with the equivalent amount in shares in the bank. And that's what effectively bail-in legislation was passed. Why would people pass bail-in legislation if they weren't prepared to use it? All these governments, UK, the EU, the US, passed this legislation. They used it in Cyprus in 2013. Here they are using it again.
And how do you think?
So let me say that if you're not in the United States, you are equally in danger. I hope that my video is shared internationally. I hope it's translated. My videos are translated. And I hope people come to realize what I've been saying now for 2 years and highlighting for 2 years. And sorry for Bogey. Bogey? See, Bogey's my dog. Well, I got dogs too. And I hope people see, I've told you. Now I'm telling you to buy gold. That's the only thing I've come on and said in the last several months. And then I came across this. Glint, I have a link in my description. But what I encourage you to do more so, because it really doesn't benefit me, but it will benefit you. I encourage you to look at least at the cards of the videos that I add to this video. I'm going to stop here because I can refer you to the rest of this video if you want to know more, because it's not my video. This is my video. And I hope that you want to look at more of my videos and that you go to their channel and look at this video from them. Symbiotic relationship as far as I'm concerned. As long as when I upload to YouTube doesn't ding me, I don't know yet. But what I do know is that this information is very timely. And maybe I'll finish it out with a few clips from one of my 2 or 3 or 4 of my videos. A couple of clips that are in harmony with this message. And that you find the value in actually digging a little bit deeper into DK Will Talk About It. Here's where I think is safe. The central banks have been upping their gold holdings significantly now for several years. Follow the money means follow the banks, right? Now, keep in mind, I didn't say follow the money means use the banks. Follow the money means follow the banks. I can tell you that I've already begun. Before it was physical gold and silver, but now I think this is so much more convenient because it's spendable with that there debit card that you have there, that MasterCard debit card. But when it comes time to convert your crypto profits into something else, this is where I'm going, folks. I am not sponsored by them. I do not make a dime if you do it. Wish I did, but I don't. But I am telling you this because I believe it to be the right thing to do to protect your funds. when you turn them into cash. Get out of cash, the dollar's a trap, and get into gold, because it's a gold-backed monetary system. And as the title of this video says, don't bank on it. I want to bring something to the attention of my viewers that I think is timely right now, and something that you might want to consider. We all are familiar with the phrase, you can take that to the bank, right? Well, have you ever considered the possibility that the bank could take you? This video here is at least a couple years old. I think it'll come out about 2022 maybe. Right in line with what I just showed you, folks. So this is a clip from one of my videos. That advertisement that I stuck afterwards is something that I did back absolutely 2 years ago. I checked. It was September of 2022. And so it's all timely, folks. And I'm going to just show you a few clips. And after those clips are over, I'm going to hope that you like, subscribe, and go digging for more videos. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It. So when these clips are over, I will have talked about it. Have a wonderful day. Let's talk about that just a little bit here today. It's certainly not unheard of that the banks would take you. Last time they took us, meaning us regular citizens, they did it through Congress, and they yanked the money out from the taxpayer. It was a $700 billion Wall Street bailout, TARP, I think it was called. However, this time around, it won't be bailouts, but it could very likely be bail-ins. And I'll define bail-ins to you here a little bit later, but as this article here on Scottsdale's Bullion and Coin says, September 8th, 2022, bank bail-ins, the sneaky legislation that puts you on the hook, again, ad lib, for failing banks. And if you'll notice here in this article, it does make the point that during the Great Recession of the United States government spent $700 billion in taxpayer dollars to bail out the banks that had caused the financial crisis in the first place. After that, Congress passed laws to ensure the government would never bail out Wall Street in the future. But that doesn't necessarily mean your money will be safe during the next financial crisis, which we are in right now, unless you have your head in the sand. The end of the bank bailout era ushered in the beginning of the bank bail-in, which could put not just your tax dollars at risk, but the actual money in your bank account. In an effort to help my viewers and myself as well to adjust and prepare for impending events that we really can't get around them. It's like if you know a strong wind is coming that will take you off your feet, the best thing you can do is hide around the corner of a large building or structure that the wind may not be powerful enough to blow. And so as you duck to the corner, not running straight but sideways to get, like a train coming, to get out of the path of the wind. I can't say water, because water won't care if you hide around the corner. And you watch the wind blow everything by you. But you're okay because you're hiding behind a bit of a stalwart, a bit of a strong wall. And so that's what we try to do here on this channel. And in reading this article, I see that it also touches on me personally because it addresses my bank. The article, U.S. banks are abruptly freezing accounts, halting withdrawals without warning or explanation, on the Daily Huddle, July 22nd of this year, 2023. It says that U.S. banks are increasingly closing customers' accounts and freezing withdrawals without warning, according to a new report. A growing number of people say they're abruptly losing access to both their checking and savings accounts, reports CBS Los Angeles. The report cites the sudden account closure of Elad Nahorai, who received an ominous alert while logging into his Bank of America account. Please stick with me. The outcome's going to be nuts. He then drove to a branch in West LA where he was told his account had been shut down and access to his life savings was denied. Bank of America told me it was shut down. They refused to give me an explanation. They told me I would get my money after it was resolved. Wow. All of a sudden, I found out I'm broke. I can't feed my family and I can't pay any expenses. Put yourself in that position.
Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?
That way.
Well, gee, thanks a lot, George. Thanks a lot.
Hi, I'm DKWILL. This is DKWILL Talk About It. Bogey's in the background, folks. If you ever listen to any of my videos, you know Bogey's yellow face Amazon parrot. And when I start talking, he starts talking. Hopefully he'll keep it down. We're going to talk a little bit about paradigms today, simply because, you know, that's a video I did about a year ago. That's the thumbnail. But as things continue to develop, I thought about the fact that I've done some videos, wear safety, don't bank on it, you know, things about the uncertainty of the financial markets as they are developing today. But I decided it's time to do a quick video on things that may help those who watch this video adjust their paradigms to what's going on, and basically answer some of the questions like the series I did, Where is Safety? So let's talk about some safe places and some good ruminations to have, because we're getting ready to head into that anticipated bull run. But if you don't know where to put your profits when you take your profits, it could be tantamount to jumping out of the pan and into the fire. And so I'm going to give you some information that hopefully will help Bogey, stop, us make that decision. Many who rely on the banking system rely on what's called the FDIC Insurance Corporation, FDIC, where they insure a measure of your funds that are in the bank. And even when the pandemic hurt, I had a person who had $1 million in the bank. They came in and they separated it into about 4 or so different accounts because they wanted to make sure it's all insured. But the thing I want to bring to mind is, yes, the FDIC does insure your accounts. And how much do they insure? You see the deposit frequently asked questions. Well, if you go there, they tell you straight up that deposits are insured up to at least $250,000 per depositor, per FDIC insured bank, per ownership category. You know, that sounds confusing to the average individual, but to cut it down for you, it's per account. You have different accounts. Each account is insured. So don't think you just get $250,000 on your one account. But the thing to recall, to be aware of when it comes to deposits that are insured by the FDIC up to $250,000, and if you are an XRP holder, if you are into the Iraqi dinar, if you bought a measure of gold and cryptocurrencies, it is anticipated that we anticipate that we're going to have more than $250,000. Am I correct in that? And so it's either going to take several bank accounts or it's going to take some other measures to diversify. But if the banks shut down or the banks bail in, you're screwed if that's where all your money is. And the other thing to keep in mind when it comes to the FDIC and the insurance that they offer is they have to have, for lack of a better term, the ass to put behind them what they're saying. And if you look at the M1 money supply, you know, the FDIC has funds in the measure of billions. But the M1 money supply that's in the bank accounts and CDs and things of that nature is in the trillions. So they don't have enough money to back everybody in a crash or a bank run or a bank failure. You know, they bailed out recently because they want to keep this hush, but this system is crashing, folks. And so the other traditional route that one might want to go, and it's the purpose of me bringing this video up about where is safety, you know, you might want to consider the fact that there's another form of insurance out there. And that form of insurance out there is called the SIPC. And the SIPC, as you can see, it says here for investors. And the SIPC insures up to a greater degree of funds than the FDIC. However, the SIPC requires that you deal with a broker, a professional, to manage your money instead of trying to manage it yourself. And the good thing about the SIPC is when it comes to insuring your funds, they insure twice as much. To show hopefully how the message I've been trying to give to my viewers since I began this YouTube channel almost a year ago, to prepare for where we are now, folks. And so if you've been disheartened because you've let yourself fall prey to the narrative and to the agenda and to the orchestrated dance, I'm trying my best in this last effort to pull you out of it. Because the greatest transfer of wealth opportunity we have ever seen is now here. And I've done videos to tell you that blockchain technology is the way to go. Gold and asset-backed currency is going to happen, that this is bigger than Iraq. Everything I've told you is true. But I also told you 99% of those cryptocurrencies are going to die. So you're going to need to know, where can I put my money? Where can I be safe? Follow the money. The money is going into gold. So if you're not, you should. I don't have anything to do with Glint, but I think it's a wonderful idea. The Glint system where you buy actual gold and get a debit card. Safe haven. You actually own the gold. That's perfect. Do I intend to do it? Absolutely, yes. I haven't done it yet? No, but I most certainly am going to. And I've been waiting for the opportunity. But as you know, life is dealt with a few blows. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. I'm still recovering. That's not relevant. What's relevant is that you get the point that this symposium of videos I'm going to string together will do. Where is the safety, people? Where is the safety? But before you can find the safety, you have to accept that whatever you thought you knew and whatever you think you know about the financial system may not apply anymore. It just may not apply anymore. There is going to be a systemic flip the switch moment. But before that moment comes, they are trying to tear us down. Don't forget, they already told us you will own nothing and be happy. So now is the time to look at things for what they are and not be afraid. Fear is what they work off of. Destruction and chaos is what they want. They couldn't go the nuclear war route because the deep underground military bases have been destroyed, so their ability to go hide under the ground for a while has been kind of like taken away. So now they have to scare you another way because these sick suckers love to create chaos, and out of the chaos comes their phoenix, folks. And so that is what's really going on. So if you've still got your head caught in the narrative of the news and they're trying to trick you and play your head on don't do this and this is a terrible investment, no, folks, let me put it to you clear. Your phone will be your wallet. It's already become that way. It's come that fast. Gold and asset-backed currencies is a reality, and it is going in place now, even though they're trying to keep the U.S. in the dark. Blockchain technology and the surviving cryptocurrencies are going to be the most gigantic wealth opportunity of transfer of wealth that you've ever seen. But you'll need to know which coins to get in and which coins to get out of. Hopefully my string of symposium videos will help you see that. And this is and has always been bigger than the Iraqi dinar. That's all just a distraction, people. So I hope you enjoy this symposium videos. I'm going to try to string them together. This is the introduction to understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to show that I've been trying to give you the information, benefit you from the very beginning, and now as time has passed, the future is proving the past.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.